यो श्रीभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद, श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. So, welcome back to the Bhagavad Gita discussion on the Sarartha Varshani Tika of Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur and the Rasik Ranjan commentary, which is the sub commentary to the Sarartha Varshani. So, in the first class, we had only three classes in the last week. First time we could not begin because of some internet issue, and then there was Narsimha Chaturdasi. So, that day also we could not have. So the seventh chapter is Bhagavad Jnana Vigyan Yoga, knowledge of the Lord's powers and sweetness. So we saw the overview of the six chapters, how the first six chapters speak about Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, and Ashtanga Yoga, and not Bhakti, because Bhakti is secondary element. That is why it is called as Guni Bhuta Bhakti. But the middle six chapters discuss Kevala Bhakti and Pradhani Bhuta Bhakti. And we spent an entire class on this verse, Mayasakta Manapartha, where Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur extols the glory of bhakti in one sense. And then we, went to the next verses. Jnanam teham savijnanam. So Gyan refers to Aishwarya Gyan, Vigyan refers to Madhurya Gyan, and how this Madhurya Gyan is so rare. That's what Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur gives the explanation. And now he starts speaking about the Aishwarya Gyan from verses 4 to 7. And we saw how the Bhairanga Shakti and the Tatastha Shakti, the Jiva, are his energies. So that is Gyan. To know Lord means to know his powers. So both the source of this is Krishna, Etad Yonini Bhutani. But Matta Paratram Nanyat. He has a transcendental form, which is his transcendence level of existence. And he is present in this world through his energy. Mai Sarvamidam Proktam Sutre Manigana Iva. So that Lord in this world through immanence. So transcendence and immanence we saw. And in the next section, we saw how in this world Krishna pervades through his Vibhuti Yoga, which is the essence or the active principle in everything. So the essence of water is taste, and that taste is Krishna, Rasom Apsu Kaunteya. And Punyo Gandha, earth has that fragrance, which is pure and natural, and that is identified with Krishna, and then all other elements also like that. So we see the sense elements as Krishna, and we remember Krishna, by which the Antakaran gets purified. That was the point I was trying to explain in this Vibhuti section. And then he generalizes it everything in one verse. Echaiva satvika bhava, rajasa tamasascha chaye, mat eveti tan vidhi, na tvam aham teshu temahi. So now we are going to go into the next section. Understanding everything is Krishna. Everything depends on Krishna, but he is not, he is independent of the modes. We saw that. So if everything is Krishna, why we need to surrender to Krishna? So why surrender is spoken in 13 and 14 verses. So why surrender is spoken there? त्रिभिर्गुणे त्रिभिर्गुणे गुणमयैर्भावे एभिः सर्वमिदं जगत् मोहितं नाभिजानाति मामेभ्यः परमव्ययम्. The whole world, sarvam idam jagat, bewildered, mohitam by the objects and persons made of three gunas. Ebbi tribir gunamayir bhave. Does not know me, mam na abhijanati. Na abhijanati, it is not na abhijanati, it should be, or na abhijanati. Mam, nabi is na and abhi. Janati, the unchanging Avyayam, who is above all of this. Ebhya Param. So everything is a three modes. So then why don't we so see Krishna then? Because Krishna is transcendental to the three modes. And the three modes are acting upon us. And we are bewildered by this. Mohitam. We are bewildered by this. So there is, uh, chain one that causes bewilderment. 7.25 and 7.13, it will come up again. There is Krishna and Maya, Tribir, Gunir, Mahir, Bhave. Maya is made of three modes. And these three modes act on the mind. The modes are the psychological forces which act on the mind. And that is why the conditioned soul, in one sense, functionally, mind is equal to Maya. So, because of the modes acting on the mind, we cannot see the Lord, although the Lord is pervading in everything in the three modes. So, ontologically, mind is a subtle element, a computer program. Maya is a conscious person acting as Krishna's agent. So, this is the whole chain of commands which causes us delusion. So, let us see how Mohitam na bijanit, how Mahamaya Shakti covers the jiva. So, there is the soul, and the soul is covered by the avidya layer. And this avidya layer, the Mahamaya Shakti, actually it has three divisions. There is the Pradhan, Avidya, and Vidya, which we have seen in 5th chapter already. The Pradhan gives the gross and subtle bodies to the jiva, and the Avidya is the covering, you know, which gives a false identity. And by Vidya, the Avidya is destroyed. That is the path of Jnana and Ashtanga. We have seen that, which are within the modes. So this Avidya Shakti has these two divisions. What is called as the Avarnatmik Shakti, and other is called as the Prakshepatmika Shakti, or what is called as the covering potency and the throwing potency, or the bewildering potency. So what does this Mahamaya Shakti or the Avidya Shakti do is basically it covers the identity of the soul, and then the soul is conscious of itself and everything in relation to Krishna and this material world. But the Mahamaya Shakti or the Avidya potency, that is called as the throwing potency, it shifts our consciousness from Krishna, who is the center of consciousness, to objects away from Krishna. So the example is given of a man watching a movie in a theater. So we all have experience, and of course, I presume that now you don't go to the theater to have such experience. Only if it is a Maha Avatar Narsimha, then you can go. Now the next Maha Avatar Parshuram will come next year, so you have to wait till one more year. So now, why does a boy or a girl go to watch a movie? What is the real root or reason? What is the real root reason? Anyone knows? Raise your hands. This is a very interesting question also, and one should know the answer. Root answer. Why does a boy or a girl or a man or a woman go to actually watch a movie? What is the reason? What is the real reason? Who will answer? Let us see. What is the real reason why they go? Vinuta Mataji, are you there?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, yes, Prabhuji. It is for the entertainment.
That is an external reason, in fact. That's an external reason.
That's
Okay.
right.
Okay, let us now, let's do some questioning, so just take the answer. Before you came into Krishna consciousness, who was your favorite heroine or hero, whatever it is?
Um, that was Ritik Roshan.
Ah, okay. So heroine, who was the heroine?
Kajal.
Okay. So the real reason we go, thank you. We had to do this test just so that we can understand. The real reason we go to watch a movie is actually that we are envious of the hero or the heroine. Please remember and understand this. We are really envious. We want to take their position as enjoyers or enjoyed. We want to take the position of the hero for those who are male, and we want to take the position of the heroine. And just like the heroine is enjoying with the hero or the hero is enjoying with the, we want to be in that position. So that's the real reason we go. So we have all observed that when we go into a movie theater, this is the root reason. Entertainment is external reason, but the root reason is this. Moment we go inside the movie theater, actually we should forget our identity as to who I am. I am a student, I have exams or whatever it is. To make you forget all that, first, the lights are turned off. And you cannot see yourself, you cannot see sometimes who is your neighbor also sitting next to you. So this is the Avarnatmika Shakti. The avidya covers you. Moment you have the soul desires to enjoy like Krishna, become the enjoyer, then Japatiya Maya Dhare, Bhagavancha Nikatastha Maya Japatiya Dhare, Krishna Bahirmukha Bhogavancha Kare, that is a Chaitanya Charitamrita verse. And then what happens is when the lights are turned off, then the projector light is thrown on the screen. It is thrown on the screen. So our consciousness, which should be situated in the self as identity of the self, that I am a boy or I am a girl, actually this is my identity, I belong to this family, these are my parents, my duties in toward as a student is this, all that is forgotten. In a material sense also it is forgotten when the movie is going on. And by projecting that projector light on the screen, our consciousness is dragged towards the screen, and whatever is happening in the screen, we identify ourselves with that. So we, consider ourselves as the hero or the heroine, and we get affected. In fact, the fight is happening between the hero and the villain, and in no movie the hero dies. You all know that. But in the during the just before the interval, the hero and villain are punching, and suddenly one punch the villain gives, and the hero dies. Suddenly you get a shock, you wake up from a chair, what happened, and if the interval comes up and the lights are on, you cannot take up that shock. Alright, nothing has happened to you. You are sitting there. Whatever is happening on the screen. But why do you get affected? Because we identify ourselves with the hero or the heroine. So that is what it happens, that the soul which wants to desire to enjoy, it is covered by the Avarnatmika Shakti, where it is given a identity different from its original Swarupa, Jivara Swarupa. And then its consciousness is pulled towards Maya to enjoy these things of this world. That is Prakshepatmika Shakti. So these are the two Shaktis, Avarnatmika Shakti and Prakshepatmika within the Avidya potency. Another example is given of a child watching a horror movie. This is very similar. The child has a desire to see a horror movie. Because it has a desire to see a horror movie, it is watching the horror movie. And suddenly, whatever is happening in the horror movie, he becomes fearful, know. And why is he fearful? Because of his desire to see the horror movie. Actually, he has nothing to do with it. But because his consciousness is now locked in the TV screen, because of that root desire to enjoy that horror movie, he in fact can cut his consciousness or shift his focus of consciousness next, and he can turn towards his mother and have very loving reciprocations with his mother. But because of turning away his consciousness from the Lord, Bahirmukh, you know, Paranmukh and Unmukh. Unmukh means turning away, Paranmukh means turning towards. But he has turned away, Unmukh, you know, away from the Lord or away from the mother, and his consciousness is now locked in the TV screen. And that's why he has to go through this fearful Bhayam Dvitiya Abhinivesh. So this is the real reason how bewildered my Maya, Mohitam Nabi Janati. So now let's come to Vishwanath Chakra Thakur's commentary. Then if you are all things, why do people not know you, the Supreme Lord? Because he said, Ye chaiva satvika bhava rajasa tamasa chaiva mateva tan vidhi. Everything is me, these three modes. Then why people cannot know you? Reason says, all the jivas born in the universe, sarvam idam jagat, being bewildered by the states such as sense and mind control in the mode of goodness, jubilation in the mode of passion, and lamentation in the mode of ignorance, stemming from the natures of the mode. Tribir gunar mayam, ebbi sarvam idam jagat. Do not know me, mam, na bijanati, who is superior to them, param, and without change, avyam, since I am beyond the gunas. So this is another reason, because the Lord is beyond the gunas, we cannot know him. So this is the reason Vishwanath Chakra Thakur gives. And we identify ourselves with the gunas. The Brahmana identifies himself that he is in mode of sattva. That is his avidya, that I am Brahmana. Of course, that identity is of the subtle body only. It is not the identity of the soul. Then the Kshatriya, he is in the mode of passion. And then there is the Vaishya. He is in the mixed modes of passion and ignorance. And then there is the Shudra, who is in the mode of ignorance. Of course, this is a standard classification, but deeply if you go, then the middle planetary systems belong to the mode of Rajas. Raja is Pradhan. And within the Rajas, there is Sattva, Tamas, like that it comes to, I'll not go into that details. But basically, it is the modes. Tribir guna bahir bhave, ebbi sarvamidam jagat. And because the Lord is Parama and Avyam, we cannot understand. That's the reason Vishnu Chakra Thakur gives. There's no commentary by Vishnu Bhaktivinoda Thakur on this verse. If you have any questions on this verse, what we have discussed also, we can take it up. Yes, dear Krish Prabhuji. Yes.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Prabhu, this covering of Jiva by avidya, that is Aranatmika Sakti. Prabhu, this covering is, even for a moment Jiva turns away from Lord, immediately it will be covered, or it is flip flop or continuous covering? How it is?
We have to understand this is, the Jiva Shaktis emanate from the Paramatma feature of the Absolute Truth. Okay. And this turning is Anadi. There is beginless ignorance of the Jiva. And only when the Jiva inquires, because of Sukriti, Krishna has given the Vedas, sent the sadhus, sent scriptures, he himself incarnates. And then he turns towards, then, slowly there is a gradual thing. It's not like a flip-flop thing happening, There's a gradual turning of the consciousness towards the Lord. So you might, I know that the question might be, that was it that, he was not Bahirmukh, he was Antarmukh or Samvika, and then when did he turn and then Maya caught
No,
him?
not from that angle. Not from that angle, Prabhu. My point was ki even we as a practicing devotee,
Uh,
uh, we also, we understand what is, theoretically we understand, but then also we are most of the time
Yeah,
away
you
from.
have to. Yeah, then I got it. I got this question. Basically, what happens is when we are in yatras or in association of devotees, morning program, temple, then the turning happens towards the Lord, and we feel naturally Krishna conscious naturally happen. But when the Bairanga Shakti, when we go out, the Bairanga Shakti takes control. So like that, we are, swinging between these two energies. And the more we get strengthened from the internal potency and we completely, transcend the influence of the Bairanga Shakti, till then, we will be swinging like that, you know. But
Mm.
only when we transcend the three modes, Mahatmanastu Mahampartha Daivim Prakriti Mashrita, when we come completely under the shelter of the Daivim Prakriti, then the Jiva being the Tatasik Shakti, now he is under the shelter, complete shelter of the internal potency. Otherwise, what happens initially, we are coming under the shelter of internal potency, but the influence of the modes is there on the mind, so it pulls us again. So, like that, like a pendulum, we are rocking here and there. But ultimately, when the more we practice spiritual practices and the more we take shelter of the internal potency and surpass the external potency, and we are completely situated in our in the sarup of the internal potency, then there will not be any influence. Got the point?
Yes, yes. Prabhu, during sleep time, how I mean how is the condition of?
During sleep also, there is the influence of the modes. In Sapna, there is, the mode of passion. In Shushupti, there is, in one sense, uh, there is also the influence of the modes, but one has to transcend all that, Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti, and come to Turiya state. So that is why, uh, interestingly, bhakti can be practiced only in the Jagrat state, not in the Sapt or deep sleep state. But whatever activities we do in the Jagrat state, slowly, slowly, our dreams also will become spiritual. We'll start getting spiritual dreams, about Krishna's pastimes. That's why Prabhupada recommended us to read Krishna book. So then slowly, slowly in the deep sleep also that awareness is there. Deep awareness is there. So in all three states, remembrance of Krishna should continue. Then only you have transcended the three modes. Then only that is a sign you're Krishna conscious. That's how Garuda Purana also says. Who is the one who has taken shelter of Vasudev? One at all times, Jagrat, Swapna, Shushupti, is able to remember Krishna. So at least for sadhakas, during the time when we are awake in the daytime, we should try to be always thinking about Krishna by studying about Krishna, by reciting Krishna's verses from the Gita and Bhagavad. That is an effort we need to put in. Okay?
Right, right. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank
Navneet Kalra Mataji. Yes.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Danvat Pranam. Prabhuji,
Yes.
I didn't understand the bewildering potency.
The covering potency, avarnatmik. Avarna means it covers. And prakshepatmika means the bewildering or the throwing potency. It means that the Maya Shakti pulls the Jiva towards Maya. You can see that the senses always are pushed towards the sense objects. So the consciousness is pulled towards Maya. So that is the throwing potency or the prakshepatmika Shakti. I hope it is clear now.
Yes, Prabhuji, thank you.
Yes. Okay. Any other questions anyone else has? Okay, so let's go to the next verse. Devi hesha gunamai mama maya durataya mamev ye prapadyante maya metam tarantite. My maya made of the gunas. Esha mama gunamai maya. Fit for jiva's pleasure. Devi is hard to surpass. Durataya. But those who surrender to me alone, mam eva, not to the demigods or other Devatas or the Gunavatars, especially Brahma or Shiva, but only me. Prapadante, cross over Maya. Maya metam tarantite. Or tarantite it should be. Yeah, taranti te. Oh, sorry. Yeah, Maya metam tarantite. So we all speak about how powerful is Maya, but we don't emphasize that how easy it is to surrender. You know, you know, there's one interesting story. Like one devotee decided that I will not eat sweets, and then he had some health issue, and that's why he decided he'll not eat sweets. But then suddenly he came home one day and he saw that his mother was making his favorite sweets, that the gulab jamun. So the smell of the gulab jamun entered his nose and then he could not resist. He said, let me check, you know. And then when he went and checked, he saw these gulab jamuns were dipped in, sugar syrup. So his mind said, let me just gobble in my mouth, but I'll not eat it. And then he put in his mouth and then ultimately he chewed it and relished it. Similarly, what we do is with Maya, we sometimes say, let me check, you know, when there is any object of sense enjoyment, let me see what it is. And then we engage in sense enjoyment. So sometimes we think that we can see Maya, chew Maya, and relish Maya and not get entangled in it. But Maya is million times powerful than us, and it has million tricks by which it can entangle us. So mature devotees don't play with Maya. They surrender to Krishna. So I'm just giving this one example. So although Maya is very difficult, surpass, we speak a lot about Maya, but the other side of the verse, which is Krishna is saying, Mam eva prapadente Maya metam tarantite. By surrendering to me, you can cross over Maya. How easy it is to cross over Maya. That is also should be emphasized. That's the point. Then how will they be delivered from the bewilderment of the three modes, which was spoken, Tribirgunirva Mameba Paramavem Maya Metam Taranti Mameba Paramavem. So how will they become Mohitam Nabi Janati? They are Mohitam. So how will be they delivered from the modes? The word Devi comes from Deva, which means those who sport with sense enjoyment. So Deva means also one who sports in sense enjoyment. It refers to the Jivas. So Devi refers to the Jivas. Thus, Devi makes it possessive, that belonging to the Jivas for their pleasure. Devi therefore means that which bewilders the Jiva. This Maya is the bewilder of the Jivas who enjoy sense objects. Devi. So I was mentioning, how we enjoy the sense object of Gulab Jamun, I was mentioning. It is made of gunas, and by implication, it is a great noose of three strands. Guna means rope, sattva, rajas, and tamas. This Maya, the external energy, belongs to me, the Supreme Lord. It is difficult to surpass. Krishna is saying, Mama Maya, it is my Maya. That's why it is difficult to surpass. As a nose, it is impossible for anyone to untie or cut it. No? Sometimes there is a hard knot of threads and you're trying to untie it, it becomes difficult. Better, take a scissor and cut it. Yeah, but these ropes of the three modes, they are not easy to cut it. It's not easy. Until you get Krishna's mercy, Krishna can cut it for us. Touching his chest, the Lord says, have faith in my words. So this is very, very profound, Have faith in my words. You know, don't try to, battle with Maya to become entangled, disentangled. Just surrender to Krishna and you have to have faith. What is that? Anyone who surrenders unto me, the form of Shandar crosses over this Maya. That is just surrender to Krishna. Krishna will, you know, We all have this experience, we go to a house to meet our friend, and there is a huge German Shepherd dog, and it just is barking and just pouncing upon you. And no matter how much you shout, how much you yell, nothing you can do. But immediately you call out the owner's name, and the owner says, "Hey, come here," immediately it will leave him, you know, because the dog is under the control of the master. So similarly, this Maya is under control of Krishna. And Krishna orders Maya, this devotee surrender to me, don't harass him. That's it. So one should have faith in the words of Krishna in the Gita and surrender to Krishna, and that's how easily one can surpass. So why surrender? Because we are bewildered by the modes and we are sporting in Devi, and it is very difficult to Duratyaya it is. And that's why Mameva Prapadyante Maya Metam Taranti. So this is one section. Now those who don't surrender, you know, if surrender is so easy, then why people don't surrender? Arjuna asked the question. That will answer the 15th, that will be answered in the 15th verse. And those who surrender, the four kinds of Sukritinas, Chaturvida Bhajante Ma, and how ultimately this is a series of verses from 16 to 19, it will come up. But if you have any questions on these two verses which we discussed in this section, before we go to 15th verse, if you have any questions, we can take up now. Any questions, any clarifications? No. Okay. So let's take up now 7.15. न मां दुष्कृतनो मूढा प्रपद्यन्ते नराधमाः मायया asuram bhavamashritah. The falsely intelligent dushkritana, consisting of the animalistic humans, engrossed solely in material pleasure. These are the mudas. The condemned humans who give up bhakti after practicing it, naradama. The deluded theist who think my body is material, maya apritgyan, and the demons who attack my form, asuram bhavamashita, do not surrender to me. Namam prapadyante. Now, this Maya, these Dushkritina, one second. Dushkritina, they are these four kinds which are mentioned, One is, Mudha, then there is Naradama, and then there is Maya, Aparita, Jnana, and there is the Asuram or Asuram Bhavamashita. Now, each of the Acharyas gives a interesting explanation of these four categories. And Vishwanath Chakra Thakur is giving from a different perspective. He is speaking from the Krishna Lila perspective because the demons attack the body of the Lord. This is in Krishna Lila. So the present level of Maya, Prabhupada takes this whole explanation of, those who are grossly ignorant, those who are the lowest among the men, those who are scientists, because he's refuting the present level of Maya. But those who are in Krishna Lila, so Vishnu Chakra is taking from that perspective. You have to understand every Acharya has his own perspective. So the Muda is those who are in karmis in one sense, who are into sense enjoyment. And those who take up to bhakti, and give up bhakti. So he calls them Naradama. And then they think that the Krishna's body is made of Maya. These are the Mayavadis. And then there are the demons who attack the body, of the Lord. So these are the four categories which Vishwanath Thakur is mentioning. But if you see Prabhupada's commentary, all these four categories are present day materialist. Prabhupada speaks from that perspective. He is refuting the present day Maya. But here, Vishwanath Thakur speaks about the different types in Krishna Leela in one fact, or those in the path of, those who surrender not to Krishna in bhakti, but to surrender to, karma kand or, mayavad or demons who are completely against the Lord only. Do not the wise then surrender unto you? Because it's so easy. Mameva prapadyante. So don't surrender to you? Yes, those who are wise surrender to me, but those who only think themselves wise do not surrender. They do not surrender. Who only think themselves wise. And they are dushkritina. Prabhupada mentions kriti means, uh, sukritina and dushkritina. Kriti means intelligence. Those who do pious works with their using the intelligence, and those who do impious works, to steal also you need intelligence. Some of the great robberies and high level intelligence they have. So they think they're actually wise, they do not surrender. Dushta means evil, spoiled, and Kritina means clever. You know, they are spoiled or they are evil. Those who have evil intelligence, Dushkritana are of four types. One is Muda, the fool equal to an animal. He pursues only animalistic enjoyment through his work. This is the karmis. It is said, Nunam devena vihita ye chatyutkata sudam hitva shunvantya sadgata purisham eva vidbhuja. Struck by fate, devena vihita, rejecting the nectar topics of the Lord, Achut Kata Sudam Hitva, they hear materialistic topics, Shunvanti Asad Gata, like pigs eating rubbish. Purisham Iva Vidbhujam. Vidbhuja is a pigs, So this is in the Kapil Shiksha, the movement of the living entities. There. Mukunda Kove na sevita vina netara. Who would not serve Mukund except a non-human? Note, Bhagavatam 5:15-11 is similar. Perhaps the quotation is a different version of the text. So in Bhagavatam, this is Bhanu Maharaj mentioning 5:15 also. It is there. Only the quotation version is different. Mukundam kove na sevita vinanita. Others are naradamas. For some time, they attain the status of human by accepting the process of bhakti, but they then reject it by their own will, thinking that it is not useful as a practice for attaining their goals. So, those who reject bhakti, they are naradamas. They become the lowest beings, adama, because of giving up bhakti after attaining it. So, they're the most unfortunate. Others, those who have studied the scriptures, have their knowledge stolen away by Maya. So those they are well versed, but these are the Mayavadis. They think Narayan residing in Vaikuntha is obtainable constant bhakti, but not Krishna or Rama, whom they consider humans. Avyaktim bhakti, no. 9.11. Namam Dushkritam, no. What is it? 9.11. How does it start? Avajananti Mamuda Manushim Tanumashita. Avajananti. They are Avajananti. They do not know that this two-handed form is the shelter of everything. But they think this two-handed form is also what? Made of Maya. They think that Narayan residing in Vaikuntha is optimal, but not Krishna and Rama, and because they are ordinary human beings. It is said, Avajananti Mamuda Manushim Tanumashita. Yeah, it's the same verse. These fools think that I have a human body. This means that though they surrender to me in some forms, they actually do not surrender to me. Others take shelter of the mood of the asuras like Jarasandha seeing my form attack it with arrows. They even try to destroy my Vaikuntha by their bad arguments based on faulty logic, such as insisting on visible proof. They do not surrender at all. So these are the four categories. Bhaktivinoda Thakur also explains this. Having taken shelter of demonic mentality, four types of persons do not accept surrender unto me. The wicked, Dushkritana, the foolish, Muda, the lowest of the human beings, Naradama, the person whose knowledge is covered by illusion, Mayaya Aparita, Jnanis, you know. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur analyzes this. Asuram Bhamam Ashrita is not a separate category, but all these four, Dushkita, Muda, Naradama, and Mayaprita, they take on the form of a Asuram Bhamam Ashrita. Those who are wicked, Dushkita, live an extremely unrighteous life. The Mudas are those atheistic persons who follow moral principles but do not take shelter of me, the presiding deity of morality. Naradamas are the lowest of human beings. They consider me to be only an aspect of morality, but not the lord of morality. Maya Gyanis are those whose knowledge remains covered by Maya, even when they have studies. Even when they have studies, studied it should be. Yeah, correct. Uh, Even when they have. And then the next paragraph. Oh, how do I come back to the cursor? Is a big issue. Ah, yeah, it's come. Even when they have. Arre, again, it is not coming to the cursor. How to do this is a big mystery for me. Anyone knows can tell me, huh? There's all these. Oh, this is a. Where is it? Even if they have studied, yeah. Scriptures such as Vedanta, they still worship Brahma and other demigods. They do not know my omnipotent nature, the eternal conscious nature of the Jiva, the temporary nature of the relationship of the Jiva with inert matter, or the eternal nature of the Jiva's relationship with me as my servant. So, Sambandha Gyan, they don't have that clear Sambandha Gyan. So, now, those who don't surrender were mentioned, those who do surrender will be taken up in 16 to 19. So, let's start with, okay, we will take up only 16 verse today because that is sufficient time for us. 16 is a very big purport. Chaturvida bhajante mam jana sukritano arjuna artho jigyasurartharti jnani cha bhartarshaba. Four types of religious person. Chaturvida sukritano jana. Worship me, mam bhajante. O Arjuna, Arjuna, the sufferer, the inquirer, the enjoyer, and the jnani. Artho is the sufferer, Jigyasu is the inquirer, Artharti means who wants to enjoy, Artha, enjoyer, and the Jnani. Now, is given Bhakti Rasa Sindhu by Rupa Goswami as Gajendra, who was in distress and he surrendered. Jigyasu, the Shaunakadi rishis. Artati, Dhruva Maharaj, he wanted a kingdom greater than his great grandfather. And the Jnani is the four Kumaras. So in this verse, you can see Jigyasu is placed between Artho and Artharthi because ultimately the Artharthi, one who is distressed, should become inquisitive, or the Artha, when he gets the Artha, he should become inquisitive. If he doesn't come to this point, then he'll remain there only and he'll not proceed ahead. And ultimately from there he has to become a Jnani. So Jnani is one who seeks knowledge of God. He comes, he's interested to have knowledge of God, but there is a subtle difference that he does not come with the intention to love God. He wants knowledge of God. So that's why, that sense, he's called as a Jnani. Now, in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, it is very interestingly mentioned that the Kanishta, Madhyam, and the Uttam, who are adhikaris for bhakti, in that, from Kanishta you have to come to Madhyam, and only a Uttam is adhikari for Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti. That is proved by Rupa Goswami. Then later on, there are other categories of four Sutkrinas, So whether which category they belong to, Kanishta, Madhyam, or Uttama, these four Sukritnas, that Rup Goswami speaks this from the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Tatra Gita Adishu Suktanam Chaturanam Adhikarinam Madhye Yasmin Bhagavata Kripa Seva Sa Shina Tad Bhava Syat Shuddha Bhakti Adhikarivan Yatebhya Shaunakadishcha Dhruvacha Chatussanam. Among the four types of persons qualified for bhakti, Chaturanam Adhikarana Madhe, mentioned in the Gita, Tatra Gitadishu Uktanam, when they receive the mercy of the Lord. Yasmin Bhagavata Kripa Syat, or his devotee, Tat Priyasava, and eradicate those tendencies, Sa Sheena Tat Tat Bhava, they become qualified for pure bhakti. They become qualified, huh? It's not that they become pure devotees. They become qualified for practicing Shuddha Bhakti. Shuddha Bhakti Adhikaryans. Examples are of this are Gajendra, Shaunak, the sages, Dhruv, and the four Kumaras. Yata, Ibhya, Shaunakadisha, Dhruva, Cha, Chatustana. So here you have to understand these are the Mishra Bhaktas. Artho, Jigyasu, Artarthi, and Jnani. And from Mishra Bhakti, they come to Shuddha Bhakti. And in Shuddha Bhakti, they have to pass through Kanishta, Madhyama, and Uttama. And only from Uttama, he is the Adhikari for Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti. Please remember that. And by practice of Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti, he'll attain Bhava Bhakti. And by Bhava Bhakti, he'll attain Prema Bhakti. Because even Uttama Adhikari definition fits in Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti. These two are moving ahead to qualify themselves as Uttam. Only a Uttam Adhikari is having qualification for practicing Shuddha Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti. You have to understand this. Of course, we will not go into the discussion of this now because that is a separate study of the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. But what this verse is saying, we are trying to understand. Now, Dhruva Maharaj, let's ask someone who has not yet participated. Vinita Mataji, are you there? Is your audio working?
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Now, Dhruva Maharaj went to the forest based on the advice of his mother, Suniti, and then he met, Narad, because the Lord sent his determination. And Narad initially, desisted him that, you're just a young boy, you should not get affected, go back. But seeing his determination, then he gave him the mantra. But he practiced his bhakti continuously without any break. Okay.
Yes.
So his bhakti did not have any break. But was there a purpose, hetu, in his practice?
Yes, Prabhuji. He had a goal, no, that he wanted
What
a
was that
huge
goal?
kingdom. He wanted a kingdom. He wanted to.
He wanted a kingdom. Now, although his bhakti was uninterrupted, but still it was done with a desire to attain a kingdom greater than that of his grandfather Brahma. So it was not anya abhilashata shunyam and jnana karmadhyanavritam. But did he perform his bhakti favorably to the Lord?
Favorably. Yes, Prabhuji.
And he performed it uninterruptedly, yes or no?
Yes, Prabhuji.
So he was able to fulfill the Mukhya Lakshana of Bhakti, but the Gauna Lakshans which make the Bhakti Shuddha, that he was not able to. But when he had the darshan of the Lord,
Then
then
he
what?
didn't want anything. He didn't want anything.
Then he did not want anything. So that is why this verse is mentioning Yasmin Bhagavad Kripa Syat Tat Priyasava. When they receive the mercy of the Lord or his devotee, and generally we have to understand that in general cases it is only his pure devotee. Because directly the Lord will not interfere only in Bhagavatam. Then you would be a character in the Bhagavatam. Like,
Yes.
Dhruva Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, like that, So only when we receive the mercy of the pure devotee, then do we become qualified for, we become Shuddha Bhaktas?
Yes, Prabhuji.
No, carefully read this translation and tell me whether we become Shuddha Bhaktas when we immediately come in contact with a pure devotee or the Lord.
We are eligible for Shuddha Bhakti.
We become eligible. And
Eligible.
another thing, it is mentioned, Sa Sheena Tat Tad Bhava, and eradicate those tendencies. So as
Yes.
long as those tendencies are still there, you don't become qualified for Bhakti. Bhakti. You're still what? Then
Mm. Yes, Prabhuji.
you
We
still
are
still
not
then what?
qualified. We are doing Mishra Bhakti. Na?
Now, again, now in our context, let's try to understand. We come in touch with the Mahabhagavat, pure devotee, and he bestows his mercy.
Mm.
Do we become qualified to practice Shuddha Bhakti?
Mm. We do, Prabhuji.
Huh?
We do become qualified. No?
But
Mahabhagya.
if you have tendencies of still enjoying in
No,
this
no,
world,
no, no, then we don't. Then
so as long as those tendencies are not fully destroyed, eradicated, that means as long as the heart is not free from bhukti spruha, mukti spruha, anya abhilashita shunyam, and then there is no karma avaran happening. That means no conditioning is there, by which the bhakti becomes avrit, by jnana, karma, yoga, and other things. So till then also we don't become qualified for pure bhakti. So even coming in touch with the Lord, or now you tell me one more thing. We have heard about Daksha in the sixth canto. He offered his prayers as the Hamsa prayers, right?
yes.
Now he had the darshan of the Lord.
Mm.
Did he become a pure devotee?
No, Prabhuji.
Why did not become? He had the darshan of the Lord, not direct.
He was envious, na Prabhuji. He didn't.
What
He
was his
was,
prayer to for the Lord that make me a Prajapati so that I can populate this universe?
mm,
Correct?
yes, Prabhuji.
The Lord blessed him. He did not ask for pure devotional service. The Lord did not bestow him
No,
pure devotional service. And what was the result? He became materially opulent, and still the tendency to commit offense was there, and this time he committed offenses to the Lord's pure devotee
Lord
Narada.
Shiva. Narada.
Right. So if we don't eradicate those tendencies, still we don't become qualified for Shuddha Bhakti. So this is a very important concept which devotees should understand. And it's not that just coming in touch with the pure bhakti or the Lord, directly Mishra Bhakti turns into Shuddha Bhakti. No, we have to eradicate these tendencies and come and become qualified for Vaidhi Sadhana.
Yes.
So this is the point I wanted to explain. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
So now, up till now, Krishna has discussed of 7 types of devotees. There are the Karma Mishra Bhaktas, the 3 types of Sakam Bhaktas, that is the Artho, Jigyasu, and Artati. There is the Jnana Mishra Bhakta. Jnana Mishra Bhakti is discussed again in 7.16, Jnani Cha Bhartasha. In this 7th chapter end, there will be the Yoga Mishra Bhakti discussed. 729 and 730 speak about it, and Yoga Mishra Bhakti will be discussed in the 8th chapter. And in 7.1 and 8.14, Krishna will speak about his Kevala Bhakta. So 3, 4, 5, 6. And in chapters 1 to 6, the Guni Bhuta Bhakti is being described. That Bhakta, the Karma, Jnani, and the Yogi. Karmis, Jnanis, and Guni Bhuta Bhakti. So there are 7 types of Bhakti is discussed based on the 7 types of practices. Up till now. So the various transcendentalists are the Kevala Bhaktas, Golok Vrindavan with Prema, the Pradhani Bhuta Bhakti, Vaikuntha and Shantarati, the Guni Bhuta Bhakti, ultimately from Nishkam Karma Yoga, you take up to Gyan Yoga and Ashtanga Yoga and attain impersonal Brahman. The Gyan Yoga, Dhyan Yoga, and the Karma Yoga, Brahma Jyoti, after they add Bhakti in their sadhana is there. Okay, so these are the various ones. So this Shuddha Bhakti or Nirgun Bhakti, Keval Bhakti is based on pure seed of Shraddha. This you should carefully note down, the pure seed of Shraddha. If the seed is mishrit with Anya Abhilashas, then it is not pure Shraddha. And only then, with that practice of sadhana bhakti will lead to bhava bhakti, prem bhakti, and then golok vrindavan. The mishra bhakti, the karma mishra bhakti, jnana mishra bhakti, yoga mishra, there is predominance of bhakti, but tinged with karma, jnana, yoga, which is spoken in the middle 6 chapters. And the guni bhuta bhakti is spoken in the first 6 chapters, where there is predominance of karma, jnana, but it is called as bhakti mishra karma, bhakti mishra jnana, bhakti mishra yoga. And this leads to ultimately liberation. This leads to, it's mentioned, the definitions. Sakama karma will lead to Swarga. Result of Nishkam karma is Gyan Yoga, and the result of Gyan Yoga is Ashtanga Yoga. Mixed devotion, that is mixed custom. Sakama Bhakti leads to the form of Salokya, attaining the same planet. Jnana Mishra Bhakti is Shantrati Bhava, as in the case of Shanaka. And Prema, as in the case of Sukdev. These are rare cases. And Ananya Bhakti, associate of the Lord in Dasya, Sakya, and other rasas. I'll finish this commentary and then I'll take up this. Then who worships you? Vishnu Chakatakur. 4 types worship me. Those who follow the rules of Varnashram, Sukritana, worship me. Among them, some desire relief from affliction, some from calamities like sickness, some desire knowledge of Atma, some desire knowledge of scriptures with grammar, and some desire enjoyment in this life and the next with land, elephant, horses, women, gold, and other things. So the artha, affliction from disease, the jigyasu, knowledge of Atma, knowledge of scriptures, grammar, and the artharthi. These persons worship me. These 3 are Sakama Grahastas. The 4th type, the Jnani, a sannyasi with pure heart who worships me with devotion, is Nishkam, without material desire. Note, in this definition, the Jnani does not have a desire for liberation. The devotee desiring liberation is mentioned in the end of the chapter as Sakama Bhakta. So that is different. The devotee, Jara Marana Mokshaya, Mokshakami is mentioned. Here, this Jnani he doesn't have the desire for liberation. He's Nishkam in one sense. These 4 types of devotees qualified with Pradhani Bodha Bhakti, in which Bhakti is the principal component, has been enumerated. The first 3 types of persons have Karma Mishra Bhakti. The 4th type has Jnana Mishra Bhakti. Later in the book Yoga Mishra Bhakti will be described in the verses like Sarvadharani Samyama 8.12. But Kevala Bhakti, unmixed Bhakti with Karma or Jnana, was also described in the beginning of the chapter with the words Maya Sakta Manapartha. So 7.1. Kevala Bhakti will also be described in the 8th chapter with Ananya Cheta Satatam 8.14. In the 9th chapter with Mahatmanastu Mam Partha and Ananyas Chintayantu Mam 9.22. The Lord describes these 2 types of bhakti, Pradhani Bhut and Kevala Bhakti, in the middle 6 chapters of the Gita. The 3rd type of bhakti, Guni Bhuta Bhakti, processes in which bhakti is a second element, is seen in karmis, jnanis, and yogis who predominantly desire results of their actions, bhukti and mukti, enjoyment or liberation, the results of their actions. Because of lack of prominence of bhakti and instead of prominence of karma, jnana, yoga, this Guni Bhut Bhakti is not classed as bhakti. As things should be classed by predominance of quality, these processes are classed as Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, and Ashtanga Yoga. And the practitioners are not classed as Bhaktas, but Karmis, Jnanis, and Yogis. The result of Sakama Karma is Swarga. The result of Nishkam Karma is Jnana Yoga, and the result of Jnana in Ashtanga is Nirvana Moksha, impersonal repletion. The results of 2 types of Pradhani Bhuta Bhakti, that is Karma Mishra and Jnana Mishra, is as follows. Among the types of Pradhani Bhukta, the first 3 are Karma Mishra or Sakama Bhakti. The result of this bhakti is attainment of the respective desires, deliverance from suffering, attainment of spiritual knowledge with materialistic method, gain for material benefits. But after that, because of the superior nature of their object of worship, the Lord, those devotees attain liberation in the form of Salokya, attaining the same planet with predominance of happiness and power, Sukh and Aishwarya. And there is no fall down as in the case of exhausting enjoyment in Swarg as a result of karma. Because they are practicing bhakti towards the Lord, they get permanent results. But those who practice, all these material benefits to devotees, they get pious results which get exhausted. It has been said, those who worship me come to me. You know? The result of Jnana Mishra Bhakti, which is superior to the other three types of, is Shantarati Bhava, as in the case of Sanaka and others. Sometimes, because of exceptional mercy of the Lord and his devotees, the result of Jnana Mishra Bhakti is the supreme position of Prisma, as in the case of Sukdev. If Sakama Bhakti, the first three times, become Nishkama, without desires, the result is Jnana Mishra Bhakti, and the result of that Jnana Mishra Bhakti is stated above, Shantarati. So the Sakam Bhakti becomes Nishkam Bhakti, and then they'll attain Shantarati. Sometimes those who have Jnana Mishra Bhakti or Karma Mishra Bhakti attain Prema in Dasya and higher rasas on their own, with no apparent association of devotees in life, because of the influence of association with devotees in previous life. So to ultimately attain Prema in any of the rasas, we have to associate with the devotees. However, that Prema is predominated with a mood of reverence, Aishwarya. The result of pure bhakti unmixed with karma jnana yoga is called Ananya Bhakti, Akanchan Bhakti, or Uttama Bhakti, which has many types, is that one becomes an associate of the Lord with Das, Sakya, and other rasas. This is explained elaborately in the commentaries of the Bhagavatam. As it is a matter related to the topic at hand, the distinctions are perfected in perfected bhakti have been briefly discussed. Note, although the topic is sadhana, the results of sadhya prem are also described here to illustrate the difference in their sadhanas. Based on their different sadhanas, they are getting different sadhyas. Okay, Bhaktivinoda Thakur. It is generally not possible for miscreants, Dusryana, to perform bhajan of me because they are not on the path of gradual developing their consciousness. Sometimes, however, such people attain service to me by chance. Among those with piety, Sukritina, who lead a regulated life, four types of are qualified to perform bhajan for me. Those who are engaged in fruitive activities remember me when they are afflicted by some misery. They are called Artha, the distressed. Even those who are bereft of piety sometimes remember me when in distress. The foolish Muda who adhere to morality are described in the previous verse, engage in gradual process of inquiring about Tattva Gyan, categorical knowledge of the truth. By this, they feel the necessity of accepting the existence of a Supreme Lord. Since he is the object of their inquisitiveness, they gradually remember me. This is the Jigyasu. Naradamas, the Lumbasamanam, take up to bhakti and then later discard it. They gradually become dissatisfied with their own concept of ethical controller and come to realize the real control of morality. They then become regulated devotees, and since they turn to me to fulfill their desired goals, they are known as Artharthi, those desirous of wealth. When the Jiva realizes that the knowledge of Brahma and Paramatma is incomplete, he takes shelter of pure knowledge of me, Bhagavan. The covering of Maya is then removed, and knowing himself to be my eternal servant, he accepts my full shelter. Those who are distressed have the defect of possessing various desires. Those who are inquisitive have the defect of bondage of moralistic knowledge. The seekers of wealth have the defect of striving to attain the celestial heavenly planets, and the Gyanis who think that Bhagavad Tattva, fundamental truths in relation to Supreme Lord, is temporary, have the defect of wanting to merge into Brahman. When these impurities are removed, these four types of persons become eligible to perform pure bhakti. The impurity should be removed. As long as these impurities exist in them, their pure bhakti is considered to be mixed with another process. That's why it is pradhani bhut. They attain Kevala Bhakti, Akinchana Vrita Bhakti when their contaminations are completely removed. Please mark this. Tat Tad Sheena Bhava. I spoke from the Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu. So that's the discussion. What is, Vishwanath Chandra Thakur? He's speaking exactly what Bhaktivinoda Thakur is speaking. Okay, Sri Lalita Mataji. Yes, Mataji.
Mataji, sorry. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. I understood, Prabhu, whatever you had told. I just had this doubt that in Jnana Mishra Bhakti example, we saw four Kumaras, right? But then they meet the Lord, and then their sinning tendency, is it like that? They meet the Lord, then their sinning tendency is reduced, and then that's why they are becoming Mahajans? Is it like that?
Yes.
Oh, so that is first they were Pradhani Bhuta Bhakta, and then they are becoming Mahajan.
Yes. They ultimately were Gyanis, but they heard about the glories of the Lord from Brahma, and then they got attracted, and then they
Okay.
came to the darshan of the Lord, but
Yeah.
the gatekeeper stopped them, and then the Lord, when they smelled the tulsi
Believe from
makaranda,
yeah.
it touched their consciousness, and their attraction towards meditation on the Brahman was broken. And now they got attracted to the qualities of the Lord. And that's how they become transformed into bhaktas.
Okay.
Hmm?
And one more thing, some few slides back, you had told that it breaks that uh, covering, right? So that avarna shakti is broken, then that prakshept, what is that? Prakshept,
Prakshepatmika Shakti.
that then that confuses. That is also broken.
No, why
In the
this question
few
of
slides,
breaking came up?
now few slides back you showed something, Prabhu, that after they do this, then that Maya, that whatever covering is removed, like that. Just quickly you went off to the next one, Prabhu. Just few slides back.
No, I did not speak anything about
One
breaking,
Prabhu, I'll show you. 1 minute, Prabhu. Slowly, slowly.
No, which verse you tell me? It is
This
Devi
verse only,
Yashagunamayi or only this verse?
this verse, few slides away from the last one.
Bhaktivinoda Thakur slide or Vishwanath Chakravarti
This
Thakur
one,
slide?
Bhaktivinoda Thakur's.
Okay, okay. Now I got it. Wait 1 second.
He said this covering will be removed. So I want,
Ah.
we first said there are two covering, no? That is Avarna Shakti and one is Prakshipta Shakti. The first one will put you in illusion, second one will confuse you, right? So now
Ah.
which one is removed? That both are removed or only the
When the impurities are removed here, this one you are speaking, or what is it?
it? No, covering is removed. Clearly, it was written in one point, Prabhu. With the,
No, there is no mention of covering removed here.
can you go little slide by slide, Prabhu, slowly?
1 second, 1 second. Okay, now Bhaktivinoda Thakur's commentary starts from here.
Huh. No, not this.
Okay, then this is
Next.
the next slide.
Huh. Next one. Not this, Prabhu, not this.
Then this is next one.
Not this. Not this, Prabhu.
Not this. Then this is the next one.
Not this.
Not this. And this is the next one.
Not this. Not this.
The covering
The
is the
covering of no.
okay.
Yeah, this one.
Then
This
this is
one.
the last slide
Yeah, this one only.
where it is mentioned.
The covering of Maya is then removed.
Where it
Which
is
this
mentioned.
second point, Prabhu, the covering of Maya is then removed.
Where
Yeah, this one, the
when
one that
these
you
impurities.
no, the previous one, the before one.
The covering of Maya is then removed, and knowing himself to be my eternal servant, he accepts my full shelter. So,
Yeah.
here, what I want to point out is that the Avarnatmika potency of Maya itself. So, Bhakti is the Sarup Shakti of the Lord.
Yeah.
And by surrendering to the Lord is control of the Maya. So, directly, it's not the separate, these avidya potency and vidya potency. Through the vidya potency we realize no,
Mm.
directly by the sarup shakti of bhakti, Maya is destroyed. Everything gross Maya which produces pradhan in the form of gross and subtle bodies, the avidya potency, vidya potency, because please understand avidya and vidya potencies are the potencies of Maya, but
Okay.
everything is destroyed by the bhakti, which is the sarup shakti of the Lord, by surrendering. It's not that in the path of gyan, by the vidya potency the avidya is destroyed. It doesn't happen like that for in devotion. In devotion it is directly by surrendering the Krishna uncovers everything directly. It
Yeah.
is not through his Maya Shakti that the uncovering happens. Are you getting this point or no?
Yeah. Yes, Prabhu. Yeah.
Mm.
Um,
That means you are, not taken by the care by directly the prison superintendent, Maya
okay.
Devi. You are taken out of the prison by the jail superintendent, Durga Devi. Krishna personally directly takes care of you.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, Krishna
Yes, Prabhu.
directly interferes in your life. Krishna directly provides what you need. because it is bhakti like that. So
Okay.
that's what happens for a devotee. Okay, that's how it is happening. The covering of Maya is removed, definitely, but he will, not realize that he is Atma, but he is, eternal Jiva Krishna Nityadas. That's he has full shelter. Okay, so I hope
Okay.
this is clear, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there is
Hare
one
Krishna.
more question, Vinita Mataji. Yeah. Yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Prabhuji, second last slide. The slide before this.
Before or after?
No, before. There is a statement that who are inquisitive have the defect of bondage to moralistic knowledge. I want to
Ah,
understand this part.
means, they are more caught up in the morality. Mhm. They have this defect of bondage of moralistic knowledge. They are, you know, sometimes, that's why they cannot understand Krishna's activities with the gopis because they are beyond morality, they are transmoral. But they stick to this morality and sometimes they cannot. That's why, transcend and understand this. So that's why it becomes a bondage for them. I'll just give you one example. This is a true
Yes, Prabhuji.
example of a saint from the Sri Sampradaya who had come in Vrindavan just 100 years back or 200 years back. He got attracted to Vraj Bhakti and he became a sadhu in Vrindavan and he was doing Madhukari. And because, he was strictly and morally following all the rules of cleanliness, once he went for Madhukari to Brajbasi's house and they were having Braj roti. And when this sadhu came to ask, they just gave from their plate.
Mm,
No,
mm,
you cannot, he got very upset. No, but
mm.
somehow he was a sadhu and he was in Braj, he had Radharani's mercy. He chastised and became very heavy and he went back. But Krishna wanted to teach a lesson. Next day, when he went to do Madhukari, he actually had darshan of Krishna. And Krishna was taking root of his Brajavasi devotees.
Yes.
And that Lord whom he is worshipping, he is taking the juta, and what is the problem with me? And I'm still sticking to morality. So sometimes the defect of morality becomes a sort of a bondage. So that is what is being mentioned. I hope it is clear, right?
Yes, now it's clear. Prabhuji. Since he is Bhava
Yeah.
Vatsalam.
Yeah. Higher is transformed moral. At the same time, we have to follow this until we have not also transcended. And after transcending, also to set an example, we should follow. But at a higher level, also we should understand these things. That's the point. Okay, Chakrama Prabhuji. Yes, what's your question? Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Dhamma Pranam Prabhuji. Prabhuji,
Yeah.
Mamayeva Ye Prapadante, 7.14. Mamayeva Ye Prapadante. This I'm not able to
Hmm.
do it. I know it by word or by sentence, and you have said it and written in the 7.14, but I'm not able to do it practically.
We are all trying in the process of surrender because our ego is not allowing us, and this false identity of enjoyer is very, very deep rooted and strong. So that's a surrender is not a, no, it can happen also, just like in Katwang immediately, but that consciousness has to be developed. So it's a process. You have to understand that it is a process. But how easy it is, that is the point also. We have to understand that, if we surrender to Krishna, then Maya is although very powerful, but Krishna is more powerful than Maya, you have to understand, and you have to surrender to Krishna. That's the point. Okay?
Fair enough. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, so we stop here and we'll continue from 7.16 tomorrow. Thank you very much. Granth Raj Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Anant Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai. Hare Krishna.